The Ontario Court of Appeal is set to rule Wednesday morning whether to grant the province's request for a stay that would freeze a lower court ruling and allow Toronto's October 22 municipal election to proceed with the province's preferred 25-ward map in place. Associate Chief Justice Alexandra Hoy said the three-judge panel would issue a ruling at 10 a.m. Wednesday, emailing it to the lawyers involved before posting it on the court's website. The announcement came after a day-long hearing in which a lawyer for the province's Attorney General told the courtroom that if the judges granted a stay, the Ford government would not push ahead with its controversial use of the Constitution's notwithstanding clause, for now. Robin Boshu, a lawyer for the Ontario government, told a packed courtroom on Tuesday that in order to provide Toronto's city clerk certainty as she scrambles to prepare for the fall vote, the Ford government would not pass its new Bill 31 this week if the court grants a stay that sets aside the Superior Court ruling last week declaring Premier Doug Ford's original move unconstitutional. If this court determines that a stay is granted that allows the October 22 election to proceed, the government will not bring its Bill 31 forward for a vote at this time, Mr. Boshu told the court, saying that the government's written submissions do not include this commitment because he had just received instructions on it. A panel of 3 judges is hearing arguments on Tuesday on whether to issue a stay to last week's Superior Court ruling, which held that Mr. Ford's move to cut Toronto Council almost in half in the middle of the election was unconstitutional. Issuing a stay would suspend the ruling for now, reverting Toronto's 47-ward election to Mr. Ford's preferred 25 wards, which he imposed August 14 even though campaigns had been underway since May. Howard Goldblatt, a lawyer for a group of candidates that challenged Mr. Ford's legislation, called the government's offer to put Bill 31 on hold an affront and said the tight timetables facing the city clerk and the court are the result of the government's own action to intervene in Toronto's election. It's really quite ironic, to put it mildly, that the Crown now seeks to assist the clerk, Mr. Goldblatt told the court. He also noted that his clients and the other challengers could appeal any stay, and the overall appeal could find its way to the Supreme Court of Canada. The court could rule on the stay as early as today, and is expected to hear 4 hours of legal arguments. After Ontario Superior Court Justice Edward Below-Baba's decision last week, which ruled that Mr. Ford's intervention violated candidates' right to free expression, Mr. Ford reintroduced his legislation and said he would use the notwithstanding clause to override the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. He even convened a highly unusual all-night legislative session in the early hours of Monday in an effort to speed passage of his bill, which is not expected to face a final vote until Thursday. That would see nominations likely extended over the weekend. Under a stay, the province has requested that the court keep nominations open for 2 more days after the order is issued, in order to ensure candidates who have yet to sign up under the 25-ward system are not left out in the cold. If a stay is issued, the 2 sides would still fight over the issues on appeal. The urgency ratcheted up after Toronto's city clerk, who must run the election, warned last week that the uncertainty over whether the city would have 47 wards or 25 wards was threatening her ability to administer the vote. Mr. Boshu also noted that the city's lawyers intend to challenge the government's use of the notwithstanding clause in Bill 31 itself, further adding to the confusion. City Clerk Coley Watkins told councillors on Thursday that all the uncertainty over the legislation has her at a tipping point on her efforts to oversee the vote, however many wards the city ends up with. She told council she has retained her own lawyer to seek advice on, among other questions, whether her powers to run the election include the ability to postpone it.